right, thank you very much. Welcome to our special Martin Luther King Day, and boy, do our guests have a lot of products. The presiding bishop of over 600 churches and ministries, he's the author of the book, Is There a Man in the House? And his CD is called Azusa Praise Jubilee. Bishop Carlton Pearson. Bishop. Bishop, how are you, sir?
Thank you, buddy.
Good to see you. She is the host of her very own talk show, Iyanla, and the best-selling author of the new book, Until Today, Iyanla Vanzant. How are you? Thank you, honey. She's a supermodel, VH1 personality, and the author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Being a Model, Roshumba. Thank you, honey. How you doing? And he is one of the biggest stars in the music industry. His new CD, The One Thing I Don't Have, but I have it at home and I love it, Coolio.com. And his upcoming movie is China Strike Force, a rapper, a gentleman, and a scholar, Mr. Coolio. There you are. How are you? Okay. Well, it's Martin Luther King Day, and just, again, by the luck of the draw, an all-black panel. I don't know how that works out every year. Gee whiz. So I think it's particularly interesting that on this Martin Luther King Day, it is the eve of the hearings for John Ashcroft as Attorney General, which is the top law enforcement officer in this country. And he doesn't seem to be someone who's particularly sympathetic to the black cause, shall we say. And I think if you ask most black people, you know, where have we come since Dr. King's time, where we have to go, I think most would say, on a practical level, the one problem that remains, the cops. You know, they still don't really trust the cops. There's still racial profiling. There's still a lot of stuff going down with old 5-0. Okay. And John Ashcroft is the #1 law enforcement officer, okay? During the convention, all Bush talked about was inclusiveness in the Republican Party, or as he called it, partay. You know, they had, as you remember, 1,000 black faces up there on the stage. Chaka Khan was singing. Somehow we've gone from Chaka Khan now to Genghis Khan. I'm talking about Ashcroft again here. Isn't it worse to lie to black people, to present Chaka Khan, and then when you get in office...
Well, why do you think we believe that?
I don't think you do.
Okay, yeah.
Chaka was just a paycheck, baby.
Right.
Show his girlfriend was having a moment, it was a paycheck, and it was like, you know,
yeah, other
whatever.
people turned down that paycheck.
Yeah, well, she gonna pay rent.
Yeah.
But, you know, first of all, I think that it's a mistake to underestimate the intelligence of the African-American community, to think that because you have a black performer at the convention that we think that means that you embrace black people. I certainly don't have that opinion. The other part of it is when you say that there's a problem with the 5-0 or with the police, I don't think it's about the 5-0 or the police. I think it's about the system. And what Ashcroft might represent to a large majority of the African-American community is that the system, the way it is, will continue. It's not the individual police, it's the system. And this is what we've been talking about over and over and over, the system.
Well, yeah.
But I think there's even like something that's a lot broader when you look at it. Personally, I don't have problems with the police because I'm a black woman. When I look at him, I think of Roe versus Wade for women overall, because he's the man that would have the power to overturn that. And I know at the Republican, National Convention, he had a photograph of his unborn grandchild, like the sonogram from the unborn grandchild, and then he had a photograph of the grandchild once it was born, and he was like, you know, women shouldn't have abortions, you know, I'm pro-life. And all I could say about that was this: what type of life was your grandchild going to be born into? a life
His
of wealth?
grandchild?
Yes,
Okay.
his grandchild. Was your grandchild going to be born into a life of wealth, a life of privilege, or was your grandchild going to be born into a life of poverty, a life of suffering? And I don't believe that anybody has the right to tell any woman that what she should or should not be able to do with her body, regardless of whether or not they believe in abortion. I don't believe that's a political issue. I believe that's a moral issue. That's between them and God. So that's where
White men still don't understand that they don't have a right not to tell black women what to do with their bodies. They
Women
don't
in
understand.
general, though.
Wait a second.
Because for me,
you're not just telling
there's a lot
somebody
of
what to do
black
about their
men
body.
who
You're
are
talking about a
against-
life here.
But that's what I'm saying. Politics cannot dictate to you what you should do with a life. That's a life. That's a moral issue. That's between you and God. And unless you are a woman who can get pregnant from a rape, from an incest, or you're in a relationship with a man who walks out on you, and you got to
baby, I don't want to make
and you got to try to figure out what to do with that baby after the man is gone. It's like,
I don't want to
on.
make it even madder, but the other side, the Ashcroft side, the pro-life side, would say it's a moral issue on their side, and they compare it, what they compare it to, and we have people here who agree, what they compare it to is slavery. They say, you know, that unborn child is something, I don't believe this, but they,
What's that
Of the
again?
30
I
million
lost
babies that have
that.
been aborted, 13 million of them are African American. That is genocide.
That's
I think we're getting off the subject.
Which one? Which subject?
And that,
Being a young black man that has been to jail before and has had problems with the police, I can say,
Why are you laughing?
yeah. I mean, they see that hat.
yeah, well, seriously.
and the hair of that.
Yeah, that's...
Anyway,
The watch, the
I mean,
car, the hat.
we're all trying to figure out where do we sit in this. You know what I'm saying? Because the prison population is 70% black, and might be even more.
Right, and this guy thinks that we need tougher mandatory drug sentencing, which is what has put so many black people
If that's
behind
the case,
prison.
George Bush shouldn't be in office, honey, is all I can say.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I gotta take a
people
break,
said
but we'll
that
come
too.
back to
Yeah.
it in just one sec. And after being observed for a few minutes, it was pulled over by the cops and questioned. 1,000 uncounted ballots for Miami-Dade. Surprise, Bush actually got 6 more ballots than Gore, although they were using the most liberal vote standard counting available. Bush got votes for hanging chads, dimpled chads, and write-in ballots that said just the dumbass. So... Oh, I kid the almost president. Okay, once again, we're talking about John Ashcroft, and the reason I brought up the convention is because, you know, it's obvious that the Republicans sometimes say one thing when they really mean something else. So they put up sort of, I guess what we'd call here on our black panel, fronting.
We all do that. That's human nature to misrepresent yourself. I mean, you know,
It would be unwise for them not to try to appeal to the African American vote. Give them a chance. Why demonize them? Because they tried.
Because let me tell you some more about this Mr. John Ashcroft. But it's a disingenuous attempt. John Ashcroft opposed desegregation laws. He called it judicial activism. You know, those meddling federal judges making blacks and whites sit together.
He also approved of 26 of the 28 African-American judges that the Clinton administration...
But they don't all wear sheets. They don't all wear sheets.
I think we all got a misconception about how life really is. When you get down to the bare essentials and you start talking about money, there's no color. Okay, first of all, we got to get away from the whole black and white issue, because anything that the judicial system can do to me, they can do it to you too. So we have to look as people, how can we make our country better? How can we make things fair for everybody? I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, I didn't, hold on.
That's a good applause line. I'm not sure you believe.
I didn't even, listen, I didn't get the vote this year, man. I didn't get my right to vote was taken away.
Because you're
exactly, because I have a felony.
Right.
Okay, right. So I was in Europe during the whole vote, and when it was all going on, I was looking, I was surprised at American people, man, how we could sit there. I don't give a damn how much it costs. If you have that much problem figuring out who's going to be the president,
who Chad is.
Have a recount, have a
It was
vote
so
over
embarrassing.
again,
I agree
start over
with
again.
Coolio, because I was in another country too. and I was being
laughing.
interviewed.
Okay, you two were not
They was laughing, man. I'm telling you. I was in Europe, and the Europeans were
I know.
laughing.
You know what,
I know.
Bill?
Rock stars, supermodels, not typical black people.
No,
Okay, can I just say that right now?
Not
typical
black people. That's
a typical black
Neither
person.
is Colin
Typical
Powell.
black people, Mr. Mayor.
And the other thing, is that when you get in that position, when you're black, whether you're black or white, you're gonna do what the hell they tell you. It don't matter what the hell color you are. You do what you're told.
But you said it was
Point blank.
economic. But economic and race, they sort of crossed lines.
But I'm talking about
yes and no.
You talking
Yes
about
and
when,
no.
especially you mentioning that this guy voted for 26 or 28 black judges. So then what?
right.
He
So
said
the
what?
black judges gonna do what they told, just like
That's
the white
right.
judges.
They don't all wear sheets.
And look,
They
when you
don't
talk
all
about
wear
police officers, you got black sheriffs, black chiefs, black mayors, black congresspersons. African Americans have moved forward. It's the system that she talked about, the whole moral conscience of a nation, the attitude. A lot of police officers are angry, frustrated, alcoholics, drug addicts. There's no moral demand on them, so they do anything,
Well,
regardless
let's talk
of their
about
race.
this.
Wow, that's quite a defense of the police.
Hold on. What's the wait? No, feel me. What's the garbage man? How can the garbage man make more per year than a police officer?
Yeah,
Man,
or a
come on.
school teacher.
And the school teacher, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's us. It's our fault.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, you know what?
Who's us?
I'm talking about American people.
Yeah.
It's us we don't have no balls, man. We don't fight. We don't fight. We don't got me something.
I don't do that.
Everybody just go along with what
Breathe,
we're
baby. Breathe, baby.
You know what I'm saying? We being controlled,
breathe,
baby.
baby.
We being controlled. We being manipulated as a whole, as a country, and we sit back and we say,
Well, who is
I
doing
don't
that?
like this. I don't like that.
But who is
nobody
most
gonna do nothing.
responsible for this manipulation?
The media.
The media.
I don't think
Yes.
so.
The media is controlled by the government as well, so the government is responsible. We are the people.
But
We're
Bush
supposed to
is
be
the head of the government. We in a lot of trouble if he gonna try to
he's a
control
puppet.
something.
He's not the head.
controlled.
He's daddy.
But this is okay. Oh, poo.
Come on, sugar. We waiting on you.
Go ahead, girl. Bring it on.
And that's the bottom line,
It boggles
man.
your brain. It boggles your brain.
Yeah.
This is what boggles my brain, Bill. I want to know why not even the media, not the government, not the system, not Coolio, Mickey Mouse, anybody has said to me what I know, that this election hysteria happened out of 50 states in Florida, where the boy's brother was the governor.
Jim.
How
Don't make
stupid
sense.
do you think I am?
Exactly.
How stupid. And nobody is listening.
Well,
So now, wait a minute. So now,
I'm not saying you're stupid, but lots of people have said that, including right here. So, you know,
well,
gotta pay attention,
Yeah,
baby.
but no, I'm paying attention to that. But
So
I'm
that's
saying
not a new
but we're
thing.
not talking about that.
What do you
Now
mean?
we're
People
going
did
off,
talk about that.
Talk about it and then do what?
Well, that's the...
Then do what? This is what
Where do
this
we
is
go
my
from here?
point. Not
They
that they weren't
protested.
talking about it.
How many people was it at the protest? 10, 20,000? This should have been
So,
2 million.
and as long as we, the
Should have been
people,
2 million people.
the us that Coolio is
People
talking
have
about.
died to have the right to vote
It ain't
and have
that
your vote
deep. It ain't
counted.
that deep.
No, but
It
what
ain't
I'm
that
saying is on the day of the celebration of Martin Luther King's birthday, he died for us to have the right to vote, have our votes counted. He died for human rights and civil rights. And for it to become a popularity contest between the Democrats and the Republican and just like have the voice of the people not heard at all.
But even when the voice of the people is heard,
something
they
is
take
very,
them in the
very
boxes
wrong.
and carry them away.
But that's
When
what
the
I'm
voice
saying.
so
Something
the
is very,
question
very
becomes,
wrong.
systemic
What
problem.
are the people
Strength
going
in
to
numbers,
do?
baby.
What are the
If you-
people going to do? What are we
Strength in
going to do?
numbers. If you got a million, you
keep
can't
asking that.
take 2 million people in one. You can't take 2 million people to jail. You can't. You can't.
sure?
You can't.
We got 2 million in there now.
Well, you
Not
know
in
what?
one day.
Yeah, exactly,
Not in
Coolio.
one day.
There's 2 million people in jail right now.
Right now.
I'm talking about.
If 2
We
million
gotta.
came out
This
at
is
one
what I'm
time.
talking about, man.
And this guy
I'm
is-
gonna say this about black people. I'm black, so I can say this.
Okay.
We have.
You heard it first on this show.
He's black.
There's a revelation.
We
I've
are
had
not-
lesbians come out, but this is the first black who came out.
Black people in this country, I'm gonna tell you something. Black people in this country are not willing to die for what they believe.
I don't.
That's
well,
true.
In general.
In general.
Wait,
I'm
right.
talking about the mass
Wait a
people.
minute.
You're
Wait a
like, man, I'm staying away from that.
If
Wait a
Martin
minute.
Luther King was a rapper, he'd go, me at last today. I'm saying that's what it would be.
See,
Because
you
like
gotta
that
understand.
culture is all about
Hold on.
ego. That hip-hop culture, not your records, but it's all about...
I've been places.
No, it's true. He's not part of it.
But
that
the
hip-hop
music
culture
industry
is all about ego.
But look where they learned it from. They learned it from rock and roll. They learned it from Bon Jovi.
Please, they
of course
did
they
not.
Did. Of course they did.
You gotta be kidding. If
Of
you
course
think
they
that there's the
did.
kind of ego in rock and roll that there is in rap music.
Elvis is in the supermarket, Bill.
Elvis never went, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I got all the bitches, I got all the bitches.
He said, don't step on my blue suede shoes.
What?
Same difference. Same difference.
He didn't have to say it.
I
He
gotta
had
take a commercial. We'll come back to this. I know. If you were a guest on the show, you know exactly what you'd say. Well, here's your chance. Politically Incorrect is auctioning off a seat on our panel on eBay. One of these others, not mine, and it's sponsored by our friends at Travelocity.
Bidding for a guest spot on Politically Incorrect is going on right now at abctvauctions.com, presented by eBay. Or for more information, log on to
Clinton as his special envoy to the Middle East peace talks. Clinton says he is honored about this, although he is still holding out hope for his first choice, ambassador to Temptation Island. Okay. Now, we got on talking about something I have said on before in the show. I call it affirmative action for the ego, which is showboating in sports by the black athletes. And in the music world, you got to be kidding if you think that Elvis or any other rock star ever had lyrics the way rap music is.
No, that's not what I was saying. What I was saying was that I said, okay, go ahead, my love. No, you go ahead. Because I don't want them to think that there's a schism between black men and black women.
Well, somebody talk or the show's going to be over soon.
I'm going to tell you. Because what I have to say is going to kill the whole conversation. There's going to be nothing else to say.
Alrighty then.
Come on with it.
We live in a time, I don't know why you haven't spoken about this, but I think we live in a time where, time is short for the world. If you are a spiritual person or you believe in God or you believe in the concept of Jesus returning to the earth, I think we are living in the last days. And I think that the things that people say and the things that people do on television, they're giving the people what they want. People, we kind of speak for the people and we say the things that they want to say. That's why people are so mad at Eminem, because there's a lot of kids that want to say what he knows.
Eminem's music is not all about me. I'm the greatest. Yeah. I got all the bitches. Sure. I got all the money.
Sure.
I got all.
Let me finish though. But if people didn't want that, they wouldn't buy it. I think that what's going on now is in music and in sports and a lot of things, we are giving people justifications for all the bad and evil things that they do. And that's why they listen to the music, and that's why they want the music, because it justifies.
But I think that's just one side of it. If you kind of look at the history too, a bit of black men in entertainment, black women have kind of always had their heyday. I just kind of did a retrospective and looked at something with the history of black women in entertainment. Black men really have come into their own basically within the last 10 years or so. I mean, you look at Hollywood, black men are all over the movie theaters and headlining films.
Where?
And personally,
why
Samuel Jackson, Denzel, the two guys who are doing the
movies do they make a year?
No, but what I'm saying is
black people at all.
Well, anyway, as I was saying, black men are coming into their
Where's the black HMO?
No,
you got all these
that's your point of view. Me being in the entertainment business and watching, black men are coming into their heyday, and they're showboating.
Okay.
This is the first time that they're leading movies.
So it's affirmative action for the ego, just like I said.
Whatever you
Madison Avenue cash cows. And the Madison Avenue advertisers, whatever sells, they put them out front to do that.
And they're having their heyday.
They're earning $1.
Anybody who's wearing a diamond ring that's like a 10-carat diamond ring.
But he doesn't own the mine, baby, so somebody got rich just by the fact that he bought it and somebody gave him the money to buy it.
If he had that power 100,000 years ago, maybe he would have owned the mine. But today,
like every white person who has a diamond owns a mine.
Exactly. It's like, come on.
It's such a racial thing, Diane.
Come on. You made it a racial thing by
celebrating the fact that
I didn't bring up diamonds. I brought up lyrics.
It's not just blacks anyway. It's not just blacks.
It is.
Why you're on that black kick.
Kid Rock does it too.
It's just rap stuff, period. There's frustration, there's anger,
I feel like
insecurity.
it's a celebration.
Rap is 98%
People are angry.
Okay, I gotta take a break.
They're celebrating.
That's what people want.
us this week on Politically Incorrect when Bill's guests will include Oscar winner Jeffrey Rush, actor-director Tim...
We don't have time to do this one, but we're going to do Black History Month next month in Washington. Tomorrow, George Wallace, Representative Joe Scarborough, Sean Patrick Thomas, and Sean Young.